What's up, guys? We're back at it again. Got another video for you today. Hopefully we can get more than 20 views. I don't know what's been going on with my channel lately, but people obviously don't want to see my content anymore. So what do? I don't know. Anyways, I want to dive into something today that's going to be ridiculous to some. Now, you guys are probably familiar with my ideas behind spelling. That if you're putting your power into words and ideas and thoughts, that will actually begin to manifest. You are a creator, you are powerful, you are able to do things that you wouldn't normally think would be possible. And once you manifest that energy and that power and you understand through your awareness how to achieve it, you can do it. So for example, spelling, you're saying a word, whether that's a chant, whether it's a curse, it's a spell. And with that spell could be something like, I love my life. And weirdly enough, what happens over you? If you really intend and feel that way, and you define it as such, what happens to your day? Hey, it starts getting better, right? But if you're like, fuck my life, things are gonna spiral out of control. That spell is very important. But you don't always need to speak it for it to have power. In fact, it already has power once you believe it. Now, of course, I've been talking about this a lot lately, about if you believe it, it is true, or it's subjective. And I've been talking about this a lot lately, but we're going to actually dive into different aspects. So, I've said this 1,000 times on my channel, but it's been a hell of a long time since I have. Probably a good year since I've made the scenario up for you. Let's start with the scenario. This scenario is going to basically have you waking up in the morning to an alarm clock. Beep, 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 beep. As you're waking up, you're like, oh, fuck. And you shut it off, but you miss, and then you shut it off. And then you're like, oh, fuck. You get up, you stub your toe, and things are just spiraling out of control. Oh, I didn't get enough sleep. Fuck, I gotta go to work. Oh, I gotta do that presentation. Oh, fuck, or whatever, right? And things just keep spiraling. Now, because you have not corrected that, that actually is going to take over in your life. That is going to have influence over the rest of your day until you consciously reduce that curse, or rather, to repel the curse and rebuke it, basically. But because you're not doing that, and you're not thinking of it, then you go in the shower. It's taking a while because for some reason it's just coming out cold, and you're like, what the fuck? This never happened before. Oh, why? It's just one of those days. It's one of those days. Then you pour your coffee, you get in your mug, and you're like, all right, time to go. You're on your way to work. You're like, okay, we can make it through this. In your head, you're like, yeah, we're doing it, right? Then, all of a sudden, you go to take a sip, you're looking down for a second while you're taking a sip, you hit a speed bump, coffee gets all over you, and you're like, fuck! Now, I either have to go all the way home to change my shirt, my work shirt, or I go to work with a stain. Now I gotta at least put something over it, maybe a hoodie or whatever it is that you work with. Now I gotta put a jacket on to cover up the stain, because it makes me look bad, or whatever, right? And then that happens, and then you're late for work, and then whatever, right? And it just keeps spiraling out of control, constantly. And all you can say is, fuck my life, why does this happen to me? Which is not rebuking the curse. It is not helping you through the day. I'm going to show you the simple remedy. And I've showed you guys this a lot in the past, but I have a lot of new subscribers. And I guess they don't even watch my videos, so I don't even know who I'm talking to at this point. Am I just saying things just to say things? I don't know. Anyways, here's how you do it. Fuck my life. How do I get through this? Serenity. I'm just going to be happy. I'm just going to get through this. I'm going to smile. I'm going to think about good things. I'm going to think about fucking my coworker and you know, slam dunking on my enemies or whatever, right? You're just gonna go to your happy place, right? And fucking you'll start feeling better. It's as simple as changing the way that you perceive things. You know how like people that smile through the hard times tend to not have many hard times? It's pretty simple, right? I made this analogy recently, I think in one of my spell videos, where I wanted to get a tattoo when I was younger because I was always struggling. I was always broke. I was always, it was always a struggle. I sold drugs a lot. Had to do what I had to do to survive. Growing up in the city, it's tough, especially for a white dude, where nobody wants you in on their parties, and the people that, don't know you or whatever, don't want to know you. You know what I'm getting at. So I wanted struggle tattooed on my body, on my arm. I'm super glad I never did that. But back then, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I always thought that I was going to get that word struggle on me because life has always been a struggle. But little did I know, that would have reinforced the struggle. I would probably be struggling to this day because every time I looked in the mirror, it would have said struggle. And that word would play in my mind, struggle. And then, whether I consciously think of it or not, or subconsciously or unconsciously, that word is going to have a bearing over my life. It's going to transform my world because I have accepted struggle to the point where I actually put it tattooed on my body. And because of that word, it's going to replay and replay and replay and keep building up its purpose. Just like life, it always gives you the test until you pass the test. Then you don't really need to pass the test, and then those tests become little mini quizzes at that point, right? So the point I'm getting at is that word could have given me an element of power because of how I defined that word, how I applied it to my life, and how I accepted it, right? Now, it's very important to understand this because the word itself isn't the issue. It's how you defined it and what you believe of it and your intention behind the word. I can tell my friend, hey, you're fucking loser, but laugh and then joke, and then he'll be like, nah, you fucking suck, or something, right? I can say that to one of my guy friends, where it'd be like, okay, you use that word in a laughable way. We're all enjoying our company or whatever, right? But there is a sense of, sorry, I'm reading my fucking, I didn't think I had internet access here, but somehow I'm getting all my comments on social media and text messages. Anyways, the fuck was I saying? Oh, saying to my friend he's a fucking loser, right? Oh, he'll miss like a ball shooting fucking billiards or something, right? He misses the ball, he barely misses. I go, you fucking loser, something like that, right? It's funny to us. We don't think anything of it because the intention was that, right? Just like, I think I said in my last video about bad words. Bad words, what do you... There is no bad words, it's your intention behind the words, right? Just like struggle could have been a struggle if I defined it as me always going through the struggle. So I'm reinforcing that belief that my life is going to always be a struggle. So if I went to somebody else and said, you fucking loser, they could have taken it another way because maybe my intention was different. Maybe their idea of my intention was different, right? So that is going to define who they are. This is going to kind of go with last video, what I'm saying now. Now let's take it a step further. There's no reason to fucking keep regurgitating the spell idea to you guys. I would even call it a theory, even though this is something I use every day. This is completely empirical. You can recreate it over and over and over and over and over again. Now, trying to figure out what's going on here. Alright, so there's another aspect. Now, a few weeks ago, I went into a Love's, and I went to take a shower. And I went up to the desk, and behind the counter, before I even said hi to him, or before he even said hi to me, he says, hold on. These people are going really slow. They're really scared of these Border Patrol agents. It makes me think, hey, are you all illegal? Not that I care. Anyways, so here we go. Before I even get to the counter, he's already saying, dude, I like that necklace. Now, this isn't my necklace. It's just a piece of the necklace that I have on me. It's this. If you guys are familiar with what this is, you probably can't even see it very well. It's called organ. And I was like, oh, you know what organ is? And he goes, no, I don't know what that is, but I have a little thing like this too. But it's sandstone. And I was like, oh, it's totally different, but I guess it doesn't matter. And I explained to him what organ was, and I really confused him to death. Especially when I told him that the guy got murdered over his experiments and they burned all his books and shit. But the point is I'm getting at is that organ isn't what you think it is. Organ is what you want it to be. Did I say it's not what you think it is? It is what you think it is, as long as that's what you think it is. But it's not what you read, unless that's what you think it is. There's a reason behind that. Organ is supposed to give you positive energy, not that, hold on, that. Positive energy, and it's supposed to weed out negative energy, cell phone radiation, etc., right? That's what it says it's supposed to do, right? I don't believe it. It's just something hippie that I got, right? So when I got this, I knew that it wasn't going to do what it was intended for. However, if I put enough intention behind it, it will actually surrender to my thoughts. That's how powerful you are as a human. Same thing like, do you ever feel safe with certain people around? Doesn't even necessarily mean that that person's going to provide safety for you, right? Or, oh, I feel a certain way because this person showed up. Well, think about it. That's how you just dictated a scenario by your feelings. You feel like you're safe, therefore you're going to be safe. So if the wolves or the fucking thugs come out of the woodwork and try to fuck with you, you're not going to be scared, and therefore you're not going to be a victim because you felt a certain way, like, oh, I'm good. The only way that you can be fucked with is if, let's say, for example, I'm not coming from Mexico, but like the border of Mexico, and there's this idea that if you're in Mexico City and you're a white person, that you're gonna get robbed. Everyone's gonna rob you, the taxi guy, everybody, right? But here's the thing, how do you not get robbed? Don't play the victim. Don't have a feeling like, oh, I'm vulnerable. Because the wolves are going to find that instinct of, well, this person's a victim. I have to be a predator towards this prey. There's something in us that aligns to that notion. Right? So if you were in Mexico City and you're going down the street and you look like a victim or an easy gain and you're giving off that aura and that frequency, that's what's going to happen. You are bringing the predators toward you, right? It's like if the lion sees something in one of the bigger bull's eyes, they don't have to necessarily think that, oh, it's hurt, you know, but something in their eyes like, oh shit, I'm not going to be able to outrun this lion or something. Something, right? And that lion's going to be like picking up that frequency. Oh, there's something telling me that's the weak one. There's less energy coming off of it, more panic coming off of it. That's the one I go for. Right. Now, if you did not give that out, or at least played a poker face, what's going to happen?
Say it, man.
You have given power into something, and you have created a scenario, whether you consciously believe it or not. Going back to objects. Organ is supposed to do things. No, it's only going to do those things if you let it. Just like you can only have a smile on your face, or you can only be happy if you make yourself happy. Right? This is how much of a creator you are. This is how powerful you are. You manipulate yourself, other consciousness, even objects to do your bidding. Now, you guys are probably like, that's bullshit. Okay, let's dive into dream catchers. Do you think dream catchers, without conscious intent, is going to do the job of catching dreams or nightmares or whatever the fuck that you intended to do? No. The only way that it can is if you make it do that. If you say to yourself, I'm not going to have that reoccurring nightmare anymore because this thing that I just hung up over my bed is going to save me from those nightmares. And because in your mind, that becomes your reality. Let's go to the placebo effect, right? You take a sugar pill. Now, we all know sugar basically kills you, gives you cancer, right? Now, if you're getting something that is going to kill you, or at least worsen your immune system, how is that helping you? Well, it's going to help you because in your mind, you're like, okay, this person knows what he's talking about. Doctor knows what he's doing, and he's prescribing me this placebo. I take the placebo, I'm going to be all better because of the medicine. Come on now. Now, I'm trying to remember exactly what it is. If it does not have at least 25% effectiveness, it is considered a placebo. That is over 95% of medication are placebos. Come on, Google what I'm talking about. I'm not making shit up. The majority of medication are placebos. Why you get better is because you believe you're going to be better by the substance. Therefore, you are. If you say, if you don't, definitely try this, okay? Try that. Say that, oh, this is going to make me feel better. Obviously, don't kid yourself because you're going to know that you're lying. But if you believe that it's going to help you, it's going to help you. Now try it this way. Think that there's no way this fucking sugar pill placebo thing's going to help me. It's not. That's how simple it is. That's how easy it is to trick your mind into have the intention desired by your intention. By you. That's how powerful you are. You give power into things. Why do you think voodooism exists? Come on. They make a little doll. Doesn't have to look like anyone. But if your idea is that somebody, you will affect that someone. Now, it might not be as simple as poking needles in a fucking voodoo doll, but how it works is that your intention becomes a curse or a good thing to someone. Same thing with prayer. There is absolutely no difference between prayer and voodooing. You can do the same thing, or at least be able to accomplish the same thing in terms of your intention. So you can pray, oh, I want my loved one to feel better. I want my mom to recover from this cancer, or whatever, right? So you're praying that, and you can be praying that with your family. But I encourage you to do the exact same thing, believing in the power of prayer, and then going to believe the power of voodooism. Touch the voodoo doll and heal the person. I'm healing her. I'm healing her. She's going to feel better. She's going to feel better the same way that your power of prayer helped. Because all it is the power of intention. And when more and more people come together, the more powerful that power becomes. The power is going to become much more potent. So you're going to need much more of a potent antibody for that, or antichrist of that, antidote to that, right? But the point is that I'm getting at is that that's where your power lies. Your power lies with your intention. Now, obviously, there's definitely nothing new on my channel talking about the power of intention. I've actually been talking about it since, I think, video number 4 or 5 on my channel. We're up to 300. 300 videos. So, like, since 4 or 5, I've been talking about the power of intention. If you believe there's a God, there's going to be a God there in everything that you do. Oh, I can't believe God was showing me the path this way, right? So if you believe in Santa Claus, you're going to be like, oh my God, he's watching me right now. As a kid, you know, like when you actually believed in him. Weird thing though, You know, you believe Santa Claus as a kid, and then you realize it was bullshit. But then when it comes to like a deity that's in the clouds and never going to show their face, but somehow you're talking to them and stuff, it's like, no. There's actual science that can prove what is actually going on. In fact, what is going on with that relationship with you and Jesus is exactly what I'm talking about in this video. Which, again, if you believe you're talking to Jesus, you're talking to Jesus. You have just summoned what is known as an egregor. That's how I pronounce it. You can call it egregor or whatever. I always called it egregor since I studied the occult 8-9 years ago. I've always called it that. Anyways, so I use this power every day. I put energy into this. When I think to myself that this is stopping that cell phone radiation, guess what? I feel comforted by it. And because of that comfort, I feel like that radiation's not even going in. That's not even happening to me. Am I delusional? Kind of. See, I know the power that I'm using, but I know that if I did not use my intention, it is bullshit. It is a rock with some metal in it. You know what I mean? It's fucking nothing. It is literally nothing. But the design for it was to do something specific. Same thing if you had your medicine. It's designed to do something, and then you repeat in your head, this is what this is going to do. It actually starts doing the thing that you thought it was going to do. So I just wanted to say that just like words, objects, people, all surrender to the same forces. That force is your intention. If you feel like you're a victim out in Mexico City as a white person who doesn't speak a lick of Spanish, and you feel like, oh, I'm kind of vulnerable here because I don't speak their language, they're probably screwing me on the taxi rates, etc. Yeah, they're going to. And you're going to accept it because you've already in your mind accepted it. But if you said to yourself, no, I'm not going to fucking do that. I'm not going to surrender to that. How many pesos? No, we're doing half that. Oh, you're not going to help me? Well, I'm out of here. Oh, you are going to help me now. So, again, your understanding of your power in which that you have intended. If you intend for something to happen, it will happen. That's why when I always talk about studies or when people make experiments, I always want to tell you guys about the variables. Because even your conscious idea of what the result is, if you truly believe a specific result, it will inevitably happen, or it will come to you from the depths and core of the universe, will respond in according to your objectivity, your ideas, and beliefs. See, do you think Nikola Tesla was creating all this weird shit for no reason? How do you think he was able to figure it out? There was no textbook on what he was figuring it out. He was figuring it out. And he even says, and I'm going to butcher the quote, so I'm not going to say the quote. I'm just going to say basically what he said. And some of you guys know Nikola Tesla quotes. They're all pretty famous, right? But he said, all ideas are in the ether. This ether is where all knowledge stems from. You just need to tap into it. Now, why did he say this? Well, here's the thing. The way our minds operate does evolve. And in your ability to perceive something new will change the structure of how your brain operates. And when your brain is operating at a new level, let's say you learned how to put a motherboard together, and then you figured out all the parts, and then you're like, okay, well, this new thing, like sound, I can put sound into this by doing this and connecting this, and then I can do this and that and go to the next step and go to the next step. Next thing you know, you've somehow figured out teleportation or some crazy shit, right? And it's not somehow. That was your idea. That was your design. That was your thought process. That was your intent. How do you think things are invented? And don't you fucking dare tell me things are accidentally invented all the time. Because yes, they are. But don't you dare compare that to real thoughts and intent to create and conjure up a new idea. Where does new ideas stem from? They gotta come from somewhere. This is my secret to you. Information can be created and destroyed and mutated. Okay? It can. But information itself can never cease completely. Why is that? You can destroy everything in the universe. There's still going to be information. There's still going to be information. Where is that information? What is producing the information? It's always been there. Have you ever thought of the theory? And I don't agree with the theory, but this is a good idea to add into this equation. Have you ever thought of whenever a scientist said there's an infinite amount of universes, all different times, all different types of scenarios with you in it. So it's you on the same timeline, different dimensions, different universes. Have you ever thought of that? That you can go to another universe or another dimension? Now, if you have, it's bullshit. But that operates on one aspect that I know indefinitely. Information. Information is popping in your brain, which is literally the only thing your brain is really doing is producing information using consciousness and awareness. So it's grabbing information, storing it, and then trying to create something that's logical to conform and picture the universe around you or the dimension that you're in. You can change that through psychedelics and other types of mind-altering substances. But information is constantly hitting your brain. It's always out in the ether. But once you're aware of it and you're able to capture specific information, fuck it. Come on, pal. So it was one of those lights that went from green arrow to red arrow immediately without a yellow in between. So I was gonna go, and then all of a sudden it went red. I was like, what the fuck? Anyways. Fuck, what was I getting at? Oh, information. So your brain is constantly picking up new information through your lens of your eyes, through smell, touch, whatever, right? What I would tell you is your six senses. But that sixth sense is going to be broken up to many different senses. Fuck, I'm just going to wait. Go, buddy. You're going to let me go? Okay, you're just going to stop everybody to let me go. Okay. Yeah, buddy. Thank you, pal. Oh.
Continue on pay history.
Cute girl. I'm surprised. Yeah, she was cute. Anyways, I gotta stop that. We're already 30 minutes in this. You know this. Your brain is picking up information, and what comes into your brain of information is altered by your ideas and beliefs and your idea of how the world is run, orchestrated, right? How it fundamentally operates. And because of your beliefs, let's say you thought the earth was flat. And if you're thinking, oh, now this person's not going. Come on, guy or lady. So if you think the earth is flat, when you're going to be looking at the world, it's going to look flat. Everything is going to operate as such that your mind thinks that it's flat. So when new information comes to your brain, if it does not align to that information of, or reinforcing the information of a flat earth, it is going to be completely rejected. You subconsciously, unconsciously, are rejecting information at all times that does not operate in the fundamental realm of your beliefs. So information comes in, whatever sensory organ that you use. Generally your sixth sense is where, you know, your brain operates and can take in new information from vibrations, frequencies, and those kinds of information, rather than sight. So things are going to align to exactly that. If you don't believe in a third eye, you'll never have it open. Pretty simple to understand. If you believe in a third eye, and you know what it is, how it's defined, what it is, and then you can experience it, right? Same thing if I had the word struggle on my shoulder. If somebody says that the world is good, it's easy to become a millionaire, watch my video, it's easy to become a millionaire. Yes, I'm going to be that guy too. I'm doing real estate, I'm going to be doing trucking, I'm going to be doing a lot of things. I'm going to be making thousands and thousands and millions of dollars. Anyways, if I still had struggle on there, my idea of ever making it in life would be completely rejected. This is my life. I was not born to make it big. But I changed the way I perceive that. Yes, I can became my idea. Therefore, new information came hurling at me. You know what a conscious awakening is? It's when you let in new information that can change your life. That's what a conscious awakening is. That's what some people think is your third eye awakening. But that's not what that is. That could be part of it, but that's not what that is. What it is a conscious awakening. Once you stop yourself and say, I'm not doing this, and this is going to happen, you're going to change what information you allow into your psyche, your consciousness, your brain. And that is going to alter, because once you get more information in, it's going to be endless, and it's going to come at a huge wave. My first huge conscious awakening was relatively, I was like 20, my first huge conscious awakening, I was in my 20s. And when I stopped saying that this is how life is, and I took down the walls of the Matrix, and I said, this isn't real, this isn't real, this isn't real, so I'm just going to reset. I'm going to reset my clock and accept all information in. Good, bad, or ugly. I'll reject them later, but I'll accept anything. Any conspiracy theory I'll look up, anything. Oh my God, the information that came over me. The information that came over me was faster than any upload or download that you can ever see. Ever. It's going to be overwhelming how much information you let into your brain. And that's all altered by your intention. That's how powerful you are. If you think the earth is round, then you're going to dismiss those flat tire theories instantly. Now, mind you, as somebody that looks at it objectively, I don't see any proof for no flat earth theory. I don't see any proof. I see things that you can connect some dots and be like, it's all right. It sounds pretty cool, but of course you're not going to surrender to it unless you're a complete nut job or you're incapable of surrendering to reason and evidence, and you just surrender to what people say online. And then you surrender to the flat tire theory, and then everything that goes with the physics of the flat tire theory is going to make sense to you. Then the round ball theory people say, okay, well, this is why wind is like this and why the sun goes around and we're hurling through space like this, and there's a lot of evidence for that. They're going to dismiss it. That information cannot penetrate their skull. Why? Because the walls of their delusion would come down in flames. Just like I've always told you guys that Every parent loves their child. Every parent loves their child. But no parent ever wants to hear that they're a bad parent. You understand what I'm getting at here? I love my kid to death. So I'm going to do the best things for him or her. No, you're not doing the best. What are you fucking... You can't do anything wrong? But it's that mindset, especially women. Can't do anything wrong? You're the best parent ever? I'm going to call bullshit. And you're not going to accept my reasoning because that information cannot penetrate the skull. Same thing goes with everything. There's a reason why you only want, especially churchgoers, to talk to other churchgoers. Why? So you can be in your little talking point bubble and talk amongst each other. Oh, Jesus did this. Oh, I bet Jesus did this. The reason why you want to be in that bubble of like-minded people is because you don't want your walls torn down. You don't. That's why the left doesn't want to talk to the right. That's why the right doesn't want to talk to the left. And when they do, they clash. They clash, they throw out name-calling. They'll name-call each other to the end of time. No rational arguments. Nothing to gain. What happens? You just want to keep those walls up to your delusions. Whether you believe in them or not. In terms of trying to hold up those walls, that's what you're doing. Scientists do this. Everyone does it. But once you understand that the power that you give into something is a direct result from your intention, then the walls of your delusions will go down regardless of your beliefs. Because your beliefs will dwindle. Because once you realize how much power you have, and that the ideas come from the ether rather than from you, yeah, you have what you have done. Now you haven't created the idea. You've just worked it out in your mind how that idea works, right? And that idea is going to be there with or without you. Once you realize that, and that it comes from somewhere else, and your brain basically, think of a jigsaw puzzle. You got to put those pieces together, find the ones that fit, connect the dots, and that is going to be the structure of the information. And anything that's outside the lines of your beliefs or the dots that you have connected are unable to pass through with a belief structure. But when you tear down those walls, information can flow freely. And then you are going to achieve the information that, I hate when people say hidden knowledge or occultic knowledge. All that is, it's not that it's hidden. It's that some people have figured it out and they don't want to tell you. It's only hidden because, not that it is hidden, you can get that same information. The information's out there. It's infinite information is out there. Infinite. Just because they don't want to tell you that information doesn't mean you can't get that information. That information's going to be there. To invent something, government secrets, whatever the secret is. Whatever the thing that you think that you're thinking for the first time in history. Possibly even with the human race, that might be something that was thought of before, or not. But the information isn't new. Information cannot be new. The only way that it's created in our eyes is that we conjure it up. Come on now. All we have done is summoned that information. And the only way you can summon things is to understand what that thing is. and to rationalize and understand it. See, if you understand what you're conjuring up, you can do it all the time. Conjure up courage, conjure up demons, conjure up whatever. Because of your ability to conjure, which technically is occultic, it's hidden, but I do it. I do it all the time. It's very easy once you stop blocking this information. You let the information flow freely and you don't surrender to beliefs. Just because you go to church doesn't mean that you can't talk to an atheist. Just because you lean right because you want to hold your guns in your hand doesn't mean that you can't have a civil conversation with the left. You know what I'm getting at? We're all in this thing together. The power that you give into things are going to be the things that have power over you. If you're not aware of what you're doing. If you are aware of what you're doing, then you can use it to your advantage. Like I do every day.